Hey, what's up, guys? Gonna do a quick TLDR on these patch notes. I will cover Khawana and the exclusive equipment in here, though, because those are new things. So let's just scroll through here real quick. So we're getting another chapter of story that is really underwhelming, and I don't think anybody really cares because it comes out so damn slow. So we get a pair of attack boots that are pretty decent from the shop, so I recommend grabbing those, and then that's really it. Make sure you do all the quests and whatever. I'm sure I'm not the only one that is ready for this story to just be fucking over with at this point because, like, I don't know, the stalling that they're doing for this, taking literally a year to put this crap out is ridiculous. So yeah, there's those ancient messengers boots. Here they are. They're pretty good. It's too bad at max level they're only 50 main stat attack. So, but if you can get some high rolls into crit damage, crit chance, and speed and stuff, I think losing that 10% on attack could be worth it on an attack set. Pretty good boots. We got exclusive equipment here. I'll go over these really quick. So General Purgus gets health, and it looks like he doesn't get one for his skill 1, which is kind of weird. I didn't expect him to get one for his skill 2. So basically, he gets 20% chance to increase his defense for 2 turns, which isn't bad if you're like using them to tank Assassin Coley or something. I think that's a pretty good equipment to have. The other one is combat readiness increased by an additional 3%, which is okay, I guess. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. It goes from 15 to 18. I mean, over time, I guess like getting hit by several things that could make a difference. I don't know which one I want to use on my perk. Considering I use him as a light bait, I'll probably use the increased defense because I never run him with anything that can increase his defense anyways. And then the last one down here is just decrease skill cooldown by 1, which I kind of expected them to do this for one of them. But my General Purgus never gets to use his S3 a second time whenever I use him anyways. Either he dies or they die by then. So I don't really think that's really worth having. It might be, but I was never like, man, I wish I had one cooldown less on my skill 3 whenever I was using them. So I think I'm going to use the increased defense one on him, personally, for Guild War. Then we have Sirmia here. This is another case like Charles, where they just gave a hero that was already really strong something that made her stupid strong. She's already very relevant in Guild War offense, so now she gets more attack. Playing with fire is S1, right? So 25% chance to grant an extra attack. Like, I feel the issue with Sirmia is that Smilegate probably thinks like, okay, she does her 2-turn burst, and then she's pretty much useless after that. Because, like, her S1 really doesn't do much. So giving her, like, a free Dust Devil, I guess that's pretty good. It's a little overpowered, I think. In defense, I don't think she's gonna... No one should be letting her live that long. Unless you're using her with, like, a real well team comp somehow. I don't think she'll ever get to the point where she's using S1s. And then Hot Streak gives her a barrier. That could be a fat barrier. The only thing, this is just a 1-turn barrier because Hot Streak grants her 1 turn. So she's going to get a turn where the barrier just ticks off, and then she only has that barrier for 1 more turn. So you can kind of ignore that 2 turns there because she gets an extra turn after using Hot Streak. So it's really just like a 1-turn barrier, which isn't too bad. And then All In decreases cooldown of Hot Streak by 2 turns when the enemy is defeated. That's probably the best one. I don't know, it really depends. All of these are very good. I think the barrier one's kind of underwhelming because you're not going to want your Sirmia getting hit anyways. And the only AoE you're potentially going to bring her into is like a Charles or something. I can't really think of, or like, I don't know, Green Bologna. Like, you really bring her into like teams that have a green threat, no AoE ice threat, which is very hard to find these days, but it's usually like a green threat. Maybe like Ruel's with something else. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think the barrier one's really worth it. It's really the all-in, because you use on offense and you just delete stuff with her anyway, so that might help you delete stuff a little bit faster. So, cool, I guess. And I figured Bologna was going to get some more effectiveness here, which is cool. So her S2 dispels a buff. I kind of figured that would be one of them. Razor Wind, this actually increases her defense break to 100%. So she's not quite a Tywin, because Tywin can be just more useful because he can hold an Arius and he also attack buffs things. The crit buffs things. Sorry, I just woke up, so I'm yawning a little bit. So, yeah. Depends on what you want to do with Bologna. I think a dispel a buff that could be, like, if you're using her more like a bruiser, that could be okay, but I think the 100% defense break is the best one to use here. Decreasing combat readiness, that sounds kind of like annoying, but I think the 100% is the way you go on Bologna for no matter what you're doing. So that's my thoughts on those. Okay, now we got Khawana here. She's a cutie. I'll give her that. So, yeah. She's a Fire Thief Pisces, 4-star. Okay, here's her S1. Attacks the enemy with sharp sickles with a 35% chance each to inflict 2 bleeding effects for 2 turns. So, I guess each bleed effect has, what's the max chance? 50? 50% chance to inflict a bleed. So, it's not like 50 for 2 bleeds. It's 50 for one, 50 for another. And then if the enemy is debuffed after the attack, so I guess if she debuffs, it'll still do extra damage. But if she doesn't debuff and there was already a debuff there, it should still do extra damage. The way that reads. So I guess we'll find out. And then her skill 2 attacks all enemies with a Flame Guardian, increasing attack of all allies for 2 turns. When all allies are fire elemental heroes, grants all allies skill nullifier once. This is a really good skill. I kind of expected this mono team bonus to start coming out in the game eventually. And a skill that actually does damage while increasing attack is very strong. Looks like it has a 4-turn cooldown, so effectively you have 2 turns of downtime on attack buff on herself, which is okay. The fact that she grants herself her own attack buff. I always like those self-sufficient units, the self-buffing units. I think they're really strong in their own niche. As for, like, I don't think you're going to be in a situation where you're going to get this skill nullifier on your team. It's going to be beneficial. I don't see any situation where it's going to happen. Because you're not going to bring a full fire team into anything in Guild War. Because then you're not using a bait unit, which is just bad. And then there's also Seaside Bologna and Dizzy around. So she's not going to be useful there. Skill Nullifier doesn't really do shit for Golem. So I don't know what this is for. It's cool. It's a cool idea. But I don't get what it's for. Because there's no practical use for this that I can think of. I don't know. Skill Null is really nice, but I don't find myself wishing I brought a full fire team literally anywhere. And then in Golem, this doesn't stop you from getting defense broken or anything. I mean, she'll help early game players with Golem. That's pretty much it. Early to mid game Golem. Maybe as a Manic 11, if you run a full fire team there. I could see that being a thing. But that's about it with S2. I mean, I don't know. And then S3 attacks the enemy with a Flame Guardian, stunning for 1 turn before dispelling 2 buffs. So this is like Euphine before she got buffed. The stun comes before the dispel, so if the target's immune, you're not going to stun it. And then it just does more damage when all allies are fire elemental heroes. Yet again, another situation where I don't see this ability being useful. You can't stun the Golem. right? So what's the point? Like, I know it just does more damage when all allies are fire heroes. I mean, I guess you could set her up as kind of like a nuke, but I guarantee there's other fire heroes that do a lot more damage than she does. Because she's, just a thief 4-star, so I don't know. If you want to run a full fire team in Golem and throw her on it, that's really the only thing I see her being used for. You don't need to dispel Golem. I mean, do you? I don't do Golem enough to really care. I think he does get like attack buff and stuff, so sure, maybe. But it's got a 4-turn cooldown, so yeah, I don't know. She's a cool unit, but I don't think she really has any use anywhere in the game. Maybe World Boss or something with the skill null if you want to bring a full fire team to World Boss. That could be a thing. But who knows? So that's my thoughts on her. And then... what the hell is this? Oh, a story log. Okay, that's cool. And they're just fixing how this is read. And then... a bunch of bug fixes that I'm not really worried about because it's probably nothing important anyways. Yeah. So, pretty underwhelming patch. I mean, it's expected. We did get a pretty big patch last week, if I remember correctly. I don't even remember. But this is like, aren't we getting like login rewards for the anniversary right now? Like, what kind of patch is this for an anniversary? This is something that I think Smilegate is really falling short on. Like, it's the global anniversary, and you give us a Khawana that's not even, it doesn't even have a practical use in the game. Like, I read a comment in there, she's another box cheerleader, and yep, that's exactly what she is. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. But, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.